UFC Fight Night. We got Sean Brady. We got Gilbert Burns. They're fighting each other in the main event, man. But this is a good card, all right? I don't know if it's because they've been, like, skimping us on the quality, but I like this card, man. And I'm going to get right into it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even going to play with it. Let's get right into it. First fight, we got Ramaska versus Nathan Fletcher. If you want to know his first name, it starts with a Z. I'll try. Zigomantas Ramaska versus Nathan Fletcher. All right, keep in mind, I want y'all to know Nathan Fletcher, natural bantamweight. Natural bantamweight. This fight was scheduled previously. Nathan Fletcher is the one that pulled out. These are important things. Zigomantas Ramaska, a little bit about him is he's wild. He is a wild man. Okay, he's 9-2 wild man. Has fought as heavy as lightweight, but his striking is just, it's not on point. All right, I don't mean it's bad. I just mean it's not on point, and I don't think he cares. He just goes out there and he's like, what? 1, 2, left kick. I like that about him. The one thing I do not like is that when he is striking, when he is being wild, when he is being aggressive, which he always is, he can get himself out of position. He can get taken down, and when he gets taken down, he might be one of those guys that needs the refs' help to get back up. He might be one of those guys. All right, and if you're one of those guys against Nathan Fletcher, it's gonna be problems. It's gonna be problems for you because Nathan Fletcher might be one of those. He might be one of those swimmers, and we'll talk about swimmers a little later on. But Nathan Fletcher might be one of those guys because he actually has a process. He has a process where it's like, all right, I'm gonna throw the 1-2, but it's just for show. I really want to take you down. Nathan Fletcher consistently going for takedowns, consistently trying to get you up against the cage. I think in his last fight when he fought that dude Obley or whatever his name is on Tough on the show, and I'm one of those people, man. I did watch Tough. This is just what I do. I just like MMA. It's like my main thing. But yeah, Fletcher was basically going up against himself, just a better version of himself. Someone who is not going to get tired, someone who's going to grapple, someone who, you know what I'm saying? A resilient, tough person. And that's why he lost that one. Ramaska could be that as well, but I think there's a hole in his grappling, especially his get-up game. And Nathan Fletcher might not even have to take him down for it to get there. He might not even have to take him down. Ramaska could just overthrow and put himself in a bad spot. And then next thing you know, Nathan Fletcher has the back, and that's the round. You know? And for that reason, I'm going to go Nathan Fletcher. And I'm going to say Nathan Fletcher doesn't get tired. Ramaska, most of his fights finish early. So I'm going to go Nathan Fletcher, third round sub. Nathan Fletcher, third round sub. Let's book it. Next fight. Middleweight, Andre Petroski, guys. He's back. Everyone's favorite fighter, Andre Petroski's back. Holy shit, I can't believe it. And he's going against Dylan Budka. Man. What an absolute disappointment. Petroski, though, let's start with him. He's got a lot to prove, man, because no one cares if you can grapple, all right? And that's what this is going to be. This matchup is essentially a grappling match where they're allowing them to throw punches, all right? Y'all can punch and kick if you want to, but this is essentially a grappling match. Who's the better grappler? It's Petroski. Petroski, one of those dudes, he's one step ahead. He could be a potential swimmer as well. Always one step ahead of his opponent, knows what you're going to do before you do it, takes advantage. Dylan Budka, this guy is a flake, man. On the regional scene, I watched his fights, and what I learned is he used to have cardio. He used to really just be able to take people down. If he couldn't take you down, he'd try again, and then he'd take you down. And if you got back up, guess what? He'd try again. But in his fight against Almeida, what did he do? He kind of just gave up. I don't know if the lights got to him. I don't know if Almeida really did hurt him with one of those pitter-pat punches. Maybe he was demoralizing to know he couldn't take down a kickboxer. Whatever the case may be, he's now untrustworthy. Petroski, sure, he got knocked out by a hip bone, but when there's no hips involved, Petroski, better grappler. Maybe not on the cardio level of Budka, but Budka hasn't shown that cardio. Budka got tired trying to take down a kickboxer. I think Petroski is able to out cardio him too. Petroski, maybe he hasn't gassed in a minute. I'm gonna go Petroski, bro. I'll say Petroski, second round submission for Petroski. I think Butker will probably get tired, and this will be a wrap for him in the UFC. This will be a wrap for Butker. Say goodbye. Next fight, Jacqueline Amorim versus Vanessa Demopoulos. Demopoulos, man, what an overachiever this girl is, right? Because when I look at Demopoulos, I don't think she should be winning fights. Not because she's bad, but just because when I look at her, I see someone that you don't usually see in the UFC. I see someone who is like feminine. I see a female in there. You know what I'm saying? I don't see a fighter. I see somebody that really wants to be home. You know what I'm saying? Taking care of household, or, you know, just like not fighting. You know, not to put women in a box, but like I just don't see her as a fighter. She's won some fights, but again, overachiever. 35 years old, 59-inch reach. She's 5'2" as well. I just see, for comparison's sake, Jacqueline Amorim, 5'3", 68-inch reach. I think this is going to be like a 5th grader fighting like a 7th grader or something, you know, where it's just like a total mismatch. I think it might be this is going to look like bullying in there. Jacqueline Amorim, really good on the ground. I think Vanessa Demopoulos, again, the overachiever, former stripper. I just think she's not really that good anywhere. She's lucky to have gotten the wins that she has. Also 35 years old, about to be 36. You got to go Amorim. And if you're betting, you obviously say Amorim, maybe decision, but most likely sub. I just think Demopoulos really isn't that good. This is more of a Demopoulos fade than anything. But give me Amorim, really however she wants. That will most likely be sub. I'll go Amorim sub, first round. We got to move on. Gabriel Santos versus Yiza. We're in the 145 men's division. And guys, I wanted to bet Yiza. I wanted to bet him. I wanted to pick him. I was like, I like this dude Yiza. You know what I'm saying? I want to be contrarian. I want to pick this adequate Chinese fighter. But he ain't adequate enough. He just ain't. He should have been dominating these dudes. These Chinese dudes. He really should have been like fucking them up. And in my opinion, the fights were just too close. Yiza, not a striker. He's more of a grappler. He showed that against the Zhang fight. The Zhang dude is currently in the UFC. Just recently got KO'd. But in that fight, Zhang was more of the striker. Yiza was more of the grappler. And then after that, it seemed like Yiza was trying to strike a little bit more. He is pretty fast, not gonna lie. He's got like a fast right hand. No power really. But his bread and butter is still in the grappling, still in the takedowns. He strikes to set up his grappling. And that brings me to Gabriel Santos, because Gabriel Santos kind of does the same thing. If you take race out of it and you just say, all right, your name's Gabriel and your name's Yi, you're not Chinese, you're not Brazilian, they're basically the same guy. They have the same fighting style out there. Gabriel Santos, he strikes to take you down too. The thing is, if he can't take you down, he's gonna just beat you up on the feet. Yiza is more likely to force takedowns. If he can't get it, he'll try again. If he can't get it the second time, he'll just hold you against the cage. And then if he has to strike, he will. It's like, all right, I guess I'll strike with you, but I really don't want to. Gabriel Santos, he embraces it. He embraces the striking, and he's really good at it. I know he got knocked out in his last fight, but that's David Onama though. That's David Onama. He is like the dark horse of the division. Quite literally. Like, I was watching the tape, I could barely see David Onama's facial expressions. But he is a really good fighter. And Gabriel Santos got knocked out by him. He's been off for a long time. My dude Gabriel Santos, man, he is like, when I watch him fight, I just see like the future. He's 27 years old. They're both 27, but I just see like, wow, this is what MMA is. Somebody that can really do everything at a high level and they don't get tired. That's Gabriel Santos, bro. I'm gonna say Gabriel Santos by decision here, and I'm pretty confident in it. I like Gabriel Santos a lot. Coming off 2 losses, really needs a win. Let's hope he gets this one. Let's move on to the next fight, though. we got to go to flyweight, messing with the little guys. We got Andre Lima. We got Felipe dos Santos. Andre Lima 9-0 still. And I want to say something about Andre Lima. In one of those fights, he got bit by a man. All right? He got bit by Igor Severino. And the commentators, they really loved that fight. They were talking about how action-packed it was, and these are two great flyweights, and like anyone who had taped that fight knew that it was going to be a good fight. But in that particular fight, in their UFC debuts, Igor Severino was actually the one that was bringing it, and Andre Lima was more so on the back foot. And Igor was breaking him down. He was beating Andre Lima before he bit him. He bit him because he's stupid, right? But he's still, I believe, a better fighter than Andre Lima. Now, what I want to point out is I think they're going to bring that Severino dude back because he is so good. He's one of the best flyweights that's not in the UFC. And if he was in the UFC, he'd still be one of the best flyweights. He's that good. Bring that biter back, man. Now, on to this fight. That relates closely to Felipe dos Santos because Felipe dos Santos trains at Chute Boxe in Brazil. And they have some history with Andre Lima. So Felipe dos Santos and Igor Severino are teammates. If you don't look too much into it, I haven't. I just know they probably train together. They're at the same gym. They have very similar fighting styles. Apart from one thing, Felipe dos Santos is like the great value version of Igor Severino. Severino is better at everything than Felipe dos Santos is. And Andre Lima dealt with that for the most part okay. The big difference between those two fighters, Felipe dos Santos and Igor Severino, is that Igor has grappling. He can really grapple, and he can really strike. He's really that tough. Okay. And Felipe dos Santos is more like his little brother. Like I said, the great value version. Felipe dos Santos, the issue with him is that he's not strong. He's not physically strong. He's a true flyweight, man. He has no muscle, no strength. And I thought that about Victor Altamirano, who he fought, but he got taken down like so many times. The thing about Victor Altamirano is that he can't really strike that well. But yeah, man, Dos Santos is just not as good as something that Lima has already seen. Dos Santos, not someone who is great with leg kicks. Andre Lima throws so many leg kicks. So many leg kicks. And he's going to be stronger than Felipe dos Santos because everyone's stronger than him. Now, in maybe 2 years, Felipe dos Santos can put on some muscle and be really good. But right now, he's kind of frail. He's just a really tough kid. And I don't call people kid that often, but that's what this dude is. He's a tough kid. Kid being the operative word here. So give me Andre Lima to throw a lot of leg kicks, to strike when he has to, like throw punches when he has to. And I think it'll be a clear win for Lima, probably by decision because Dos Santos is tough. So is Lima. A lot of people are questioning Lima's cardio. I just don't think Dos Santos will do enough to gas him. Like Lima can strike for however long it takes. It doesn't matter. But if you bring in grappling, that's where he has issues. And Felipe dos Santos doesn't seem like someone who's going to do that. Again, Igor Severino did, and he was going to win that fight. But these guys are not the same. Andre Lima, leg kicks galore, counters. Yeah, give me Lima. Give me him by decision. Let's go to the next one. This one will be a lot shorter of a breakdown because it's Isaac Dogarian versus Brendan Moreau. And this Moreau dude, we don't know anything about him, but we do know that Isaac Dogarian is really, really good, man. He's really that good. And he's going to destroy this guy. Hopefully it's in the first round because Terrence McKinney did it in the first round. And I just want Isaac Dogarian to have a better showing than McKinney. But either way, I think it could be brutal. It could be brutal and it'll be fun while it lasts. Isaac Dogarian gets back on the horse. First or second round finish. Really however he wants. Probably ground and pound. Let's be real. Next fight. men's light heavyweight division. We got Ovince St. Preux still doing it, bruh. Still doing it. Versus Ryan Spann. Ovince St. Preux coming off a surprising win. Did anybody expect him to beat Kennedy Nzechukwu? I'll be honest. I knew it was a possibility because I know Kennedy pretty well, and I know he's not someone who's been fighting his whole life. You know, not a fighter like that. And he's also training at Fortis MMA, which is the worst gym in MMA. It's literally the worst gym in MMA. If you can do your own research, it's a terrible gym. The people that go there, they degrade in skill. But anyway, Ryan Spann, I believe he's still training at Fortis MMA. And the difference between him and Kennedy is that he is more of a fighter. That's it. He's just more willing to fight. Kennedy is just a big guy who they're like, hey, we can mold you. That, like, you know what I'm saying? You ever see some fat kid and then some older guy in the mall just sees him and is like, hey man, have you thought about playing football? That's what they did with Kennedy. They just said, hey, you're tall and long and black. Do you want to fight? That's all that happened. Ryan Spann, more of a fighting background, more willing to get in there and get after it. He's fucking stupid though. That's the only thing about Ryan Spann. He just does dumb shit. But when you're as old as Ovince St. Preux, sometimes you can't capitalize on the dumb shit that people do. And that's the bottom line. He doesn't like getting hit. Ovince doesn't like getting hit. So Ryan Spann, that's his main thing. He likes to get in there. He gets sloppy, but he trusts himself. He's like overconfident. And that's going to look good against someone like Ovince St. Preux. Give me Ryan Spann, first round KO. Sorry, Ovince. Let's go to the next one, though, where a lot of people seem to be confident in this one. We got Rong Zhu versus Chris Padilla. Chris Padilla is not that good. Rong Zhu is someone who also isn't that good, but used to be in the UFC. He got finished by Ignacio Bahamondes, and he made Ignacio Bahamondes look like a goddamn phenom. And then we found out Ignacio Bahamondes was just a normal, tall Mexican guy, or whatever he is. But we found out he was just kind of basic. But when he fought Rong Zhu, he made him, man, he looked unbeatable. And that brings me to my main point, which is like, Rong Zhu is getting another shot in the UFC because he won the Road to UFC. And we already talked about Road to UFC earlier. These guys that are on Road to UFC, bro, you gotta keep in mind, like, the people that they're fighting come from a very particular pool, okay? A very, very particular pool of fighters. So much so that they all look the same, all right? Now, when you look good against those guys, it doesn't really say that much about what you're bringing to the UFC, okay? You really just got to keep that in mind. Chris Padilla, the only reason he's in the UFC is because he came in on short notice and was able to sub James Yontop. Yontop, dude, what are you doing? I do not understand that guy. I've never seen someone look so good on tape and just like be so bad, bro. Oh my god. But anyway, he subs Yontop, and that's like his whole game. He's really good on the ground. Chris Padilla is still untrustworthy when it comes to the striking, but I'll be honest, man, Rong Zhu really ain't that good at anything, and he's slow. He looks slow against the Road to UFC dudes. Okay, we already seen him in the UFC once. He's not that great. He's not really that good at anything. He likes to strike. He doesn't move his head, though. He doesn't move his head at all. He's not really good on the ground. He's so slow, okay? And I've seen him get taken down on the Road to UFC. I believe that Chris Padilla can do that. I believe that Chris Padilla can get a body triangle and win a round. I believe that he can get a body triangle and sub this dude. I think he can put him in a bad spot and just beat him up, honestly, and win a decision. But no matter how it goes, I'm going to pick Chris Padilla, bro, because Rong Zhu, too many holes, too many things I really just don't like with my fighters. And if I gotta lock it in, I'll say Chris Padilla by decision. Yeah. Next fight. Wild fight here. It's Trevor Peek versus Yanal Ashmouz. Ashmouz is like he's a little guy, but he really does hit hard. But is he good? That's still up for debate. Taping this fight is hard because Trevor Peek is wild and tough, and Ashmouz seems to be like a little more technical, but he doesn't throw as many punches, and I think he relies on the knockout. This Ashmouz dude, he's an undersized lightweight, right? So I think he relies on the knockout, and they have him listed as 5'9". That is super debatable. This guy is like 5'6", but yeah. I think he relies on knockout too much, whereas Trevor Peek throws punches in bunches. No matter how bad the punches look, he's throwing them. They're in bunches. All right, nothing I said was wrong. And we've never seen him get knocked out. We've seen him hurt, but we've also seen him in deep waters. We know Trevor Peek's one of those guys that's going to push. We've seen him get third round finishes or come back at least and knock people out like he did on Contender Series. Ashmouz, man, there's just not enough on this guy. If you're betting this, I wouldn't. But I'm going to say Trevor Peek just because I know more about him. I know what he's bringing. He's someone that's going to fight for your money, fight for your pick, fight for your reputation. Whereas the Ashmouz dude, low volume. They made this matchup because they believe it will be a car crash, but I think it's going to be a lot of Trevor Peek going forward and a lot of Ashmouz moving backwards, throwing leg kicks, looking for openings, big strikes every now and then. But Trevor Peek is going to be doing he's going to be doing the bulk of the volume in this fight, and that could swing it for the judges, man, if it even gets that far. But this is one of those fights where, like, on paper it's definitely not going to the decision, but it might. It really just might. So it happens all the time. Like in that what was that guy's name? Zach Reese versus the Hispanic dude. Yeah. Surely this one won't go past the first round. Oh yeah, all the way to the decision. So I can see this happening, man. Even if both guys are just a little bit tentative, Trevor Peek will be doing a little more. Give me Trevor Peek, man, by decision. It'll be a close one though. All right, the Matt Schnell fight did get canceled. Maybe they find Matt Schnell a new opponent. We shall see. But until then, we're moving on. It's the next men's 145-pound fight, and it's Kyle Nelson versus Steve. This one's tricky, man. This one's tricky because I like both guys. Kyle Nelson is more of a, all right, just stay the course. I'm going to stay the course. I'm going to keep doing my jabs. I'm going to throw my right hand. I'm going to block. And Steve Garcia is more like, that's how he fights. And I don't know. Have we seen Kyle Nelson fight someone like Steve? I don't know if we have. Like somebody who just comes out and is just like, all right, fuck everything. I'm fighting right now. I don't think we've ever seen him fight someone like that. Maybe Polo Reyes. He fought Polo Reyes, but man, that guy's just, he doesn't have a chin. All right, who after Polo Reyes did he fight where it's like nobody? Bill Algeo, slow. Fernando Padilla, slow. Blake Builder, slow. And when I say slow, I mean like a slow-paced fight. Jai Herbert, slow pace. Billy Quarantillo, Doo Ho Choi, slow pace. So this Steve Garcia fight is gonna be like fighting Doo Ho Choi with more volume. So like a lot of heavy punches, but just way more volume. Steve Garcia, what is he on, a 5-fight win streak? Yeah, 4. But yeah, I really like this fight, man. I really like this fight. It's gonna be exciting, and that's why it's so high up on the card. Kyle Nelson, I think he's gonna gas out. I think he's gonna get tired in the second round. Yeah, because Kyle Nelson used to have a real cardio issue. He used to be first round or bust, right? Remember those days? The people know. And I just think it takes somebody to bring it out of him, right? Like, to where we can't just stand here and look at each other and exchange leg kicks and, nah, we're not taking a break right now. Steve says no. And I think he's just gonna bring it, bro. Like, bring it the whole time. be in his face, not care about getting hit. In the second round, I think Kyle Nelson's power will probably be gone. Steve can break him with punches because of the cardio. So I'm gonna take Steve Garcia in the second round. Steve Garcia, second round TKO, gets up, does his thing. Man, what a turnaround for his career. I like this guy now. I used to think he sucked. And this guy, man, Steve Garcia, shout out to you, bro. Keep winning. Keep winning for the USA. Kyle Nelson from Canada. USA, baby. But nah, best of luck to Kyle Nelson. I just think he loses second round TKO. Let's go to the next fight, where we have a setup fight if I ever seen one. It's a co-main event in the women's division, 125. Jessica Andrade versus Natalia Silva. Hey, listen. PSA to everybody out there. Whenever you see Jessica Andrade fighting at flyweight, she is just going in there for a favor. Okay, she is doing the UFC a favor. They asked her to fight. She says yes. Okay, doesn't matter which division, but we know which one is really her division. She doesn't give a shit about her ranking in 125. I don't think she cares about her ranking or record. Nothing. She's just doing them a solid and she's getting paid. Jessica Andrade is too small for this weight class. Natalia Silva, someone who's up and coming. Has she ever seen the power of somebody like Andrade though? Like, do we know if she can take a punch? We don't. We don't really know. We've seen her fight Marina Rodriguez, and that was like way too long ago to even consider. I just think Natalia Silva, new school of women's MMA, bigger. She'll probably be stronger. It's not that hard to dodge Andrade's punches. Hold on, I'm dying. Excuse me. It's not that hard to dodge Andrade's punches, what I was trying to say. That's really it. She's swinging, she's not really doing anything else. So, for that reason, I got to go with the more dynamic fighter. Natalia Silva, more dynamic, stronger, faster. And again, at the end of the day, this is a favor that she's doing for the UFC. It's really that simple. Hopefully she's getting the bag the right way. Andrade. Shout out to everybody who's seen Andrade's nipples. And we're moving on. Gilbert Burns versus Sean Brady. This is gonna be eye-opening for a lot of people. Like really eye-opening. Brady is just better than Gilbert Burns. Like, he's a better grappler. People must not know that. Like, Sean Brady is probably top 3 grappler in the UFC. Top 3 grappler in the UFC, man. Gilbert Burns, 38 years old, dog. He's slow. He's coming off a heartbreaking loss. He should have won that fight against JDM. He somehow lost. Sean Brady, just a really strong linebacker ass dude. You know? Sean the linebacker Brady, baby. Big ass back. He just... There's just no way. Like, I don't see it happening. Gilbert Burns got outstruck by Bilal Muhammad, didn't he? Yeah, he did. And we can use the excuse like, oh, my shoulder, my arm, whatever it was. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You got outstruck. We've also seen him fight guys like Jorge Masvidal, you know, and just not look good. And it's like, when he gets takedowns, like when's the last time that Gilbert Burns actually submitted somebody? When? I'll check Tapology right now. When's the last time he submitted somebody? Neil Magny, who can't stop anything? Who can't stop anything? You see what I'm saying? Like, he's so dangerous on the ground. He's so this, he's so that. But, like, when does he ever really submit people that aren't Neil Magny? Why is he getting dropped by jabs? These are the questions that I have for Gilbert Burns. He's just a little too old right now. What he's going to do is he's going to throw that overhand right with all of his might. That's what he's going to do. Overhand right for everything. And that's going to have all the marbles in it. And Sean Brady's just going to put his guard up and take that shit. And then Gilbert Burns is going to be like, oh, okay, so I'm going to lose. Oh, so I lost. There go my marbles. Yeah. And then if they go to the ground, I really think, and you can come back and listen to this or whatever, maybe listen to this after the fact. Sean Brady is he's a swimmer, bro. He's a swimmer that is just, he's gonna look like miles ahead of Gilbert Burns. People are gonna blame the age, which could be a factor. I'm not saying it isn't, but it's just like Sean Brady he's really that dude. Like who the announcers or the commentators, you know how they say Gilbert Burns is on the ground? Sean Brady is like actually like that on the ground. So if you don't believe me, you can watch for yourself. But if you listen to this video, hopefully I was able to help you out. Hopefully I was able to help you out, man. Like, again, this is just what I do. I just watch this shit and I love this shit. And it's another video for y'all. Hopefully it helped. Catch you on the next one.